Hey guys, welcome to our very first Q&A video. We're really excited to answer all your guys' questions. It was pretty overwhelming. We didn't expect so many of you guys to ask so many questions, so unfortunately we can't answer them all in this video, but we picked a few.
Our top 10.
Yeah, our top 10. So we'll be answering 10 questions. All right, but before we get into answering your questions, this video is sponsored by Best Fiends. I'm really excited about this because I'm a huge Best Fiends game addict. I'm on level 86. I've been playing this game nonstop. I really love this game.
When do you have the time to play this game all the time?
It's usually when I'm going to bed. This is like my relaxing time, and that's when I actually play it.
Oh, this is after I've passed out then, because I always pass out first.
He always sleeps first, so it's usually I'm playing while he's sleeping, and then Isaac has helped me get far along in these levels too, because he likes playing this game. So pretty much what this game is, it's a free puzzle game where you collect like the same colored pieces and you use your fiends to attack these slugs. The reason why I really like this app as well is because they have these in-app games, and they just released this game called Boot Camp where the slugs are actually training against the fiends, and you get to see the reverse perspective of the game, because usually you are playing as a fiend trying to defeat the slugs.
Oh yeah, easy peasy.
So I'm actually really excited to play that, and if you guys check out the link in the description box below, you will see a link for you to download the app, and once you download, you'll get $5 worth of gold and diamonds. And once you start playing this game, you're gonna know that you really need these things because it helps you build up your fiends and you can have stronger fiends.
Who are you? You live like a double life. Like, what is this?
I know, I like Best Fiends, okay? Leave me alone. All right, now let's get into the questions.
Question number 1 from Sophia.bb. What is your most favorite thing about each other? What's your favorite thing about me?
My favorite thing about you is your passion.
My passion?
Mm-hmm. You're very passionate about everything in your life. And I think it's because of the fact that you are so into movies. So like you picture your life as a movie. So everything has to be like dramatic and like inspiring, and just a lot of passion. There's a lot of passion in your work, in our relationship, in the way you are with Isaac. There's just, you're all about passion. That's what I love about you.
That's why I'm so romantic.
Yeah, you really are romantic. I'm a lucky girl, guys. I really am.
I think my most favorite thing about you is your curiosity. You're a very curious person. Like, you don't leave any stones unturned. Because for me, I can live life without ever finding out about certain things. I'm just like,
nosy.
I don't care. You are nosy, but in a very good way. Because you're not nosy. You're not curious in a way where you're nosy and you have to find out about things to get an advantage on certain things. You're just curious for the sake of being curious, and you want to learn, which is a great reason why you're a great placement for JK News.
I know. I'm constantly trying to find the stories and gossip. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing.
So I love that about you. I love your curious nature, and I love the fact that you're willing to learn.
All right, so the next question is from panchosart. What type of music do you listen to? The reason why we picked this question though is because we
love music.
We really love music. I don't even know where to begin. Well, for me, there's the English side and the Spanish side, and then there's the side that there's no words.
I wish I could say that. I wish I could be like, yeah, there's an English side and a Chinese side, but I don't listen to Chinese music at all. So I don't like R&B, you don't like country. That's like the two genres that we never really blend very well. But outside of those two genres, I think, you know, like soul music, jazz music.
Oh, we love
rock,
jazz. And all sorts of jazz too. Like
all sorts of jazz.
From the entire spectrum of jazz, except for like the really like Kenny G.
Kenny G.
Yeah, we don't like that kind of jazz. I don't even know what it's called, but like the internet, Kali Uchis.
Who's that?
See, he doesn't know a lot of the music. Me and your brother share a lot of similarities of the music that we like.
I don't like modern music. There's so much more to explore with old music than there is with new music that I actually get really bored with new music now. It's too simple.
Yeah, I tend to listen to older music too. Mainly jazz, mainly rock. Yeah, so just to give you guys a little insight of what we really love to listen to, we have our own playlist. And this playlist is curated because we like to listen to this like whenever we're ready to go to sleep. So our playlist, Sea of Love by Cat Power, Nothing Takes the Place of You by J.D. McPherson, Maggot Brain by The Funkadelic, Free Bird by Leonard Skinner, Black Magic Woman, Santana, Foxy Lady, Jimi Hendrix, Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix. A lot of Jimi Hendrix.
Lots of Jimi Hendrix.
And a lot of Santana.
Rock. A lot of rock.
And then for me, in the Spanish realm, I love listening to Belanova. Like Shakira, back in the day, not really her new stuff that much. Maná, that's like the #1 band in my life is Maná.
I like Maná too.
Yeah, he likes Maná too. And then I like listening to banda sometimes. I don't like corridos or norteños with the exception of Intocable. Intocable, like, I love Intocable so much. But yeah, so we love music. Next question.
Question number 3 by Nick Tavola 23. Oh, this is a juicy question.
Everyone's asking.
How do you feel about Bart and Gio not coming to Paris?
What do you think, guys? Come on. Obviously, we're sad. These are 2 of our closest friends. Gio is my best friend. Of course, I'm heartbroken that they can't even make it. But you know what? Like, I've seen a lot of comments saying like, man, Tiffany's so messed up. How is she gonna have her wedding and not have her best friend there? Why can't she move the wedding date? Well, what you guys don't know is we actually already moved the wedding date for Gio. So the story is, around January, I had first emailed our wedding planner because we had finally found a wedding planner out there in Paris. And I told Gio, really excited, I'm like, Gio, we're starting the wedding planning process. And we picked like a time frame of when we want to do the wedding. And she was like, cool, when are you gonna have it? And then I told her, I'm like, well, in early September. And then her face kind of changed. So I'm like, why? Like, is everything okay? She's like, no, yeah, that's awesome, that's cool. And then a few weeks later, that's when she finally tells everyone that she was pregnant. And then I'm like, Gio, what? You're pregnant? Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Like, this is awesome. I'm like, when are you due? She's like, early September. And I'm like, no. And then so I was just so bummed out because I'm like, okay, first of all, there is no way I'm gonna be in another country, like across the world, while you are in labor. That's not gonna happen. You're my best friend. I'm gonna be here for you. We're not gonna have the wedding in September anymore. Like, that's final. So then I asked the wedding planner, I said, I just found out my best friend is pregnant. She's due the same time we were looking at the wedding dates. When do you suggest that we should get married? And then she gave me some more options, and some of them were before she gave birth, and then some were after she gave birth. And then I was telling her, I'm like, it's not realistic to try to plan a wedding with her traveling with the newborn. So I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna have to do it before she gives birth. So I even Googled like what's the latest a pregnant lady can fly, and I think it was like 38 weeks or something like that. So then I was like, okay, well, let's see if we can try to like plan it out somewhere here. So then we finalized on the month, and she bought her plane ticket. She's like, okay, I asked my doctor. The doctor said I should be good, as like it's pretty much just up to me and how I feel leading up to the date. And then I guess this last time that she went to the doctor told her, I don't recommend it. You're gonna be really far along by the time this wedding happens, so I don't think you should go. And the doctor was like, I'm sure your friend will understand. And then when Gio was telling me, I was like, yeah, of course, you and the baby's health is #1. Like, who cares about our wedding? Like, that doesn't matter. Like, you're #1. Still, like, she still is kind of hopeful. She's like, well, I still want to see how I'm gonna feel. And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, girl, it's okay. Like, no, I mean, we tried. We moved the date up to see if you can make it. It's not possible. Oh well, like, this sucks. Like, it's at this point we can't move the wedding again because everyone already bought their tickets, and it's just it's way too crazy now at this point. So I'm really bummed out that she can't make it. But I mean, their health is #1, so that's the most important thing.
I don't know about you, but I entertained the idea of like maybe postponing the wedding a whole year or maybe 2 years, but then that kind of pushes our timeline back as well, you know, because we have other big plans that we want to do too. So we kind of need to do this wedding now.
Yeah, so that's why we can't postpone it. And I'm not a bad friend, okay? I tried really hard to make sure she can make it. I literally moved the entire wedding. My family members from Mexico, I had originally told them that we're having our wedding in September, and they were like, cool, we're gonna save up, we're gonna make sure we're there. And then I tell them, sorry guys, I had to move the date up because, you know, like, I want my friend to be able to make it. And everyone's like, well, that's too soon, we can't make it. So now I don't have Gio or my family from Mexico coming to the wedding. So it sucks, like, all around. It really sucks. But we have bigger plans that we need to make sure that we're on time for it. So next question is from parkerconnan.
Oh, that's a cool name. Parkerconnan.
Conan with 2 N's. When are you 2 planning on making a baby Chan?
Baby Chan. Well, that's that big thing that we're trying to plan for, and yeah. So we realize Gio and Christina are pregnant, and we do want to have a kid of our own eventually, and that can also grow up with their kids, you know, and kind of create a group of kids that are within the same age range. But we don't want to have this kid without being married, you know, and so that's why we're really pushing for this.
I learned my lesson the first time, okay? I learned my lesson the first time. I'm like, if we're having another kid, we have to be married first.
Yeah, and everything's kind of pointing in that direction for us. Like Isaac's ready to have a sibling.
He's been ready for years. He's been asking me for one. And I keep telling him, hold on, baby, wait, I gotta get married first.
Yeah, and then like, you know, I think we're ready for a kid. Like we're super ready for it now. Everyone in our lives getting into that age where, you know, starting a family is a very high priority now. And then also our parents too. Like my parents, they've been wanting a grandchild. Like I've never really felt that pressure from them until maybe like 2 years ago. It was when they finally started like hinting at the idea, like, hey, when are you gonna start? When are you gonna pop the questions so you can get moving along with, you know, other bigger things, you know? And I'm like, oh, it's just got like real grown up now.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't postpone the wedding even longer. Pretty much the timeline that we have going on here, this is just like a general sense of direction. We don't know if we're really gonna go through with this entire timeline, but pretty much what we're thinking is get married, spend a whole year of just being married, enjoying the married life without throwing a kid in the mix yet. Then that's when we will think about trying to have a kid. He's completely ready for another one, but me, I don't feel all that ready for a second kid because
it's your body.
First of all, yes, it is my body, and I'm not ready for my body to go through those crazy, drastic changes all over again, because I had that happen to me when I was 17. I got pregnant when I was 17. Isaac was born when I was 18. So I was really young, and even though I love my baby to death and I love the way everything happened, I still feel like I kind of missed out on my young adulthood. You got to experience that. I didn't. I was a single mom, working, going to school. Like, it was really hard. So I feel like just now, because Isaac's getting older, he's really independent now, and you know, I just feel like just now I'm getting to experience that like adulthood, like without having to stress so much about having a young little kid while you're working and just doing all these things. So right now I'm really enjoying this sort of freedom that I have because Isaac's older and more independent. Like I feel like I've gained that freedom back. So I don't know if I'm ready to let go of that just yet, but that's why I'm saying like we'll see what happens. But yeah, like seeing my friends, you know, going through that whole motherhood experience for the first time, and it's really reminiscent for me of thinking like, oh, I remember when I was pregnant, and I remember feeling Isaac's kicks in my belly, and oh, I want that right now. I kind of miss that. So then I'm kind of like going back and forth. So I don't know. And then in terms of how many kids we're planning on having, because I saw that question pop up a lot. We're planning on having a minimum of 2 more kids because Isaac has grown up being an only child, and I grew up being an only child too because my half brother was born when I was like 10 years old or 9 years old. So same thing with Isaac.
That's the same exact thing.
Exact same thing. And I don't really feel all that close to my brothers because I'm so much older than them, and we just didn't really grow up having that like sibling kind of relationship. For like the future kids, like I want them to be able to grow up with a sibling like from when they're little, because Isaac didn't get to experience that. I didn't get to experience that. I want to be able to provide that for our future kids.
Yeah, we're gonna try everything in our power too to try to incorporate Isaac. I mean, it's not like that we're not doing that already, but like, you know, given the fact that when you throw another child in and, you know, it's a half sibling, I don't know what kind of psychological effects that will have on Isaac, but you know, we're gonna try our best to really tend to that and really nurture Isaac so that he doesn't feel pushed out in any sort of way.
So that's why we're thinking a minimum of 2. Hopefully a boy and a girl, because that's what everyone wants, right?
Boy and a girl.
In terms of which one would be first, we don't really care.
Girl. Boy, girl. I don't know. It's all cool. If it's 2 girls, it's cool too. If it's 2 boys, it's cool too. I don't know. All right, next question. _J Cash. Ooh. Did you guys ever think you would have made it this far together? That's an easy no.
No, we didn't. Why not?
Because when we first started dating, it was supposed to be a fling. And it was a fling that was supposed to last maybe just a couple months because you were trying to date around at that time. You had just gotten out of a long-term relationship, and so you wanted to explore the dating world and kind of see what you liked and didn't like.
Yeah, so I have only been in 3 relationships in my whole life. The first one being with Isaac's dad, that lasted 3 years. Second one, I was with someone else, that lasted 3 years. And the third one, with you, now 5 years, going on to infinity.
Record.
Yeah, so you were supposed to be my first like fling kind of thing because I have never experienced that dating world of like.
Your first fling worked out well for you.
I know, and I ended up marrying my first fling. So then going into our thing, I made it clear like I'm not trying to be serious at all. I had just gotten out of a serious relationship. Like I want to just find myself and let's just have fun.
Yeah, and for me too, it was a fling in the beginning too, because I was like, oh, she has a kid. I don't know if I want to commit myself to that kind of responsibility. That's, you know, it's a pretty heavy responsibility, and you know, because of that, I made it very clear to myself too that it was be a fling. But
you're the one who told me I love you like 2 weeks after we started.
I know, because emotions fly and you just can't help it sometimes.
It was so soon too. I was like, I remember.
Was it 2 weeks? No, it wasn't 2 weeks.
No, I remember thinking in my head like, what? We've just been dating for 2 weeks. You already told me you love me. But you were drunk, so. He had flown back home. He was in Dallas, and we were just talking on the phone. He was drinking with his dad.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's when he was like, I love you. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you're drunk. It's okay. And then you're like, no. I really love you. Like, I love you. I know I do. And I'm like, I'll talk to you in the morning. And then so that just ended there. And then he flew back over and then we saw each other. And I'm like, you know, you told me you loved me over the phone. And I remember you saying something like, you thought about it. And you looked at me like with the most like romantic eyes. And you're like, I think I do love you. And I'm like, so yeah, that's where it began.
There's nothing not to like about you. I'm like, you're just so lovable. It was the flame turned into a thing pretty early on, I would say.
Yeah, and I remember when he actually told me like, no, I think I really do love you. And I told him, I was like, listen, you can run right now. It's okay. I have so much baggage. You can leave. I won't be angry. I know it's a lot to like take on, like me with the kid, and I'm like alone and I'm doing all this and I'm just like, it's a lot. So I'm like, you can run, it's okay. And what'd you say?
I don't know, what did I say?
I don't remember the exact.
Was I drunk too?
No, I don't remember the exact words, but you said something like, no, I'm up for it. Like, I want to do this. I don't want to run away, so.
Oh, I think I remember, because at that time, I hadn't officially met Isaac yet.
Yeah, he hadn't.
But seeing how great of a mom and like a person that Tiff was, I was like, oh, like she's laying down a path, the right path for her son. Because she talks about him every once in a while, you know? So if there was another single mom and child that I would ever have another fling with in the future, you know, maybe this one right here would be the one to settle down with, you know. And I was like, it's, you know, I don't know. You're just a beautiful person, and it's really hard to pass up on that. Beautiful people are hard to pass up on. Like inside.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Outside too. Inside and out. Come on, Casey, get it straight.
Yeah, so that's how that started. Yeah, but we did not think we would make it this far at all. That's for sure.
I remember one time we were staring into the mirror, and we were just kind of like looking at ourselves, and I was like, do you think we look good together?
I was like, no. I said no, because I had never been with anyone outside of my Latin culture, so I had never been with an Asian guy. So just off the bat, I was really ignorant, I guess, in that time, because I was a little bit like, oh, this is kind of awkward. I'm with an Asian guy now. I've never been with an Asian guy. So when you asked me that in front of the mirror, like, do we look good together? I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I don't really see a lot of like interracial couples in my own little Mexican bubble world that I was in at that time.
Even at that, I feel like it wasn't that common either back then. Well, Asian girls they're able to date just about any race, but Asian guys, I think at that time was almost specifically with white girls or Asian girls. There wasn't a whole lot of other ethnicities in the mix. And so, yeah, I don't know, but lately though, if you go on Instagram, like I see a lot of interracial couples, so yeah. That's awesome. We're trendy.
Yeah. All right, so next question.
From Apelihahekeli. Did I say that right?
Apelihahekeli. Yeah.
I love the father-son parenting relationship between Casey and Isaac. So my question is, how did you introduce Isaac to Casey and vice versa? Oh, we kind of touched on this in the previous one.
Yeah, a little bit. So Casey and I were dating for a couple months before he ever met Isaac. It was at the OC Fair in 2012. We all went together, and I remember my brother went. Oh my God, what is that?
Oh my God! Lizard!
I think it's a baby rat.
No, it's a lizard.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Catch it, Zoe, kill it. How do we get it out?
kind of want to record Zoe
I
doing
know,
this.
he's so cute. Here, record it.
All right, we will resume this in a little bit. What are you doing, Zoe?
Look at him in hunter mode. Oh my god, I can see it.
Is it a rat
Oh
or?
no, it's a lizard.
Yeah, it's a lizard.
Get it.
Get it, Zoe. Get it, Zoe. Get it.
What do we do? We can't just leave the lizard here. How did he even get in?
I don't know.
Oh, I see it.
What are you gonna do?
He's not gonna get it. You know our cats don't get. Go that way. Go. Get out. Yes, you're leaving. Woo! Get out, stupid lizard. You're almost there. Get out. Come on, get out. Oh no!
Zoe!
He ran right to Zoe.
Underneath you.
He's under you, fool. Yay! We did it! High five! Sorry, Zoe, your playmate's gone. That was really scary. I don't know how a lizard got into our house, but anyways, we were on the question about you meeting Isaac. So,
Oh, yeah.
What was your first thought or your first impression of Isaac?
Like in my mind, the way you speak of him, he's so mature. But then when I finally met him, I was like, that's a toddler.
Yeah, he was 4 years old when they met. It was so cute. Last night, since we were picking these questions, I wanted to pick Isaac's brain too. I asked him, Isaac, what was your first impression of Casey when you met him? First of all, do you even remember meeting Casey? He was like, no, I don't remember. That was a long time ago because he has known him for like half of his life already.
Half his life, yeah.
So, but then I asked him, I'm like, well, do you remember what you thought of him or like how you felt when you met him? He was like, I thought he was a cool guy. I liked him. He was cool. And I'm like, oh, really? And I thought he might have just said that just to say it. I was like, well, have you met anyone that you immediately didn't like? And then he started telling me about some girl at school. So he does know the difference of like immediately having a good impression or a bad impression. And you gave him a good impression, so.
Sweet, yeah. I feel like he gave me a really good impression too. He's just really easygoing. He's like one of the most easiest going kids. And like when my parents met him, they said the same thing too. It's like, kids
He's
can be
easy to
nightmares. Yeah, kids can be nightmares, and Isaac is easy to love. He's the dream child, so I'm glad he is that way. It made it easy for all three of us to kind of coexist together.
Definitely.
And form this family.
I'm a lucky mama because I have such a great kid. And I thought it was so funny because in the beginning I could see how awkward you were with Isaac. You were just like, hey. You were just
It's
so
hard
awkward.
because I haven't been around kids for so long.
I know, and then the very first photo I took of them together, I forgot why, but we were in the car and I remember thinking like, oh, this is sweet. Like this is around, the beginning of when they meet. Let me take a picture and remember this. And so I took a picture of you and you made your weird like half smile and you kind of looked angry sort of a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
And I was just like, he's awkward around Isaac.
Yeah, I mean, because being like a mid-20s guy that's dwelled in Hollywood for the past 5 years and not a child in sight, it does something to your psychology and to how you carry yourself and
especially
whatnot.
because Isaac is so affectionate. He would constantly try to hug him and like tickle him and play with him. He was just like, hey.
Yeah, I spent the past 5 years, hanging out with rappers and at bars, going to shows, recording, doing music videos. Like, it's a totally different world. And now I have to like PC myself all of a sudden and turn, the rated R scene into a rated G scene, and it was like, I don't know how to do this. I had to like reacclimate myself.
I didn't want to introduce them until we knew that we were a little bit more serious. So that's when I introduced them. I think we were dating for a few months already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
Next.
From darthsanhate. Where did Isaac's name come from?
That's all
Do
you.
you know? I'm just kidding.
I do know. You told me the story, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about how we would name our kids, and I was like, well, this is so hard. How'd you name Isaac?
Oh my goodness. My entire pregnancy, I was stressing about what am I gonna name this brand new human being that has to be referred to this particular name that I have to pick for the rest of their lives. It's a lot of pressure. And then his dad at the time, he was just like, well, let's just name him after me. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And so he was just very like, I don't know, you pick it. Like he didn't really care. So I was all alone in this, all alone. So the entire pregnancy, I would just look through like baby name books and I just didn't like any of them. And then whenever I would come across a name that I'm like, oh, that could work, but then I'll think of someone that I met that had that name and that kind of like tarnishes the name a bit. Even if it's a cool person and you're just like, well, I mean, that person already has that name. Like, you kind of don't want to.
Everyone has a name.
I know. So then at that time, the name Aiden was like super popular and I really liked how it sounds, and it's like, it just rolls off the tongue really nice and it just sounds sweet. It's like Aiden. It's a really sweet name.
Yeah.
So at that time I'm like, okay, and it's funny that I'm saying that I didn't want to pick a name that other people had, and then I ended up about to pick up a name that was really popular. I don't know, I'm weird. But yeah, I was about to name him Aiden. The day he was born, I had a cesarean, so that's when like they cut open my stomach and they take him out.
Until I met you, I didn't know a cesarean and a C-section are the same thing.
Yeah, it is. So I had a C-section. So when he came into the world, I remember the anesthesiologist just telling me like, hey, it's a boy. What's his name? And I looked at his dad and I was like, Aiden? And his dad's like, yeah, whatever you want. He didn't care. So I was like, I don't want Aiden. So I was just staring up into the ceiling, and at that time I was like a lot more religious. So I would be like, God, please, 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 God, like help me. I don't know what to name this kid. I am so scared of like making the wrong decision. Like, please, God, help me. Like, what do I name this kid? And then finally, like, it just popped in my head. I'm like, Isaac. Oh, Isaac. Isaac's nice. I like how it sounds. I like Isaac, and I had considered Isaac when I was pregnant, but then I knew someone in high school named Isaac, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to name him that because of that reason. But then in that moment, he's already here, he's born. They're asking me what is his name gonna be. His dad doesn't care. I'm like asking God. So I like to think that God named him because that name just popped into my head at that moment. And then plus it's a biblical name as well. So yeah, that's how Isaac's name came about. So, and I'm really happy that I went with that name, or that God helped me pick that name, because I really love that name and it just fits him perfectly. Now, I don't know how we're gonna name our future kids at all. We think about it sometimes just to like have fun and be like, what would we name our future daughter or our future son? And then we don't know. It's like a really hard
Pierce.
thing.
I like Pierce, but you don't like Pierce.
It's not gonna be Pierce.
Next one, from maxinedesiree. Maxinedesiree. I was like, Desiree. Who are your groomsmen and bridesmaids? Wedding question. You wanna sit together?
3, 2, 1. We don't have
none.
any.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't have any groomsmen or bridesmaids because there's just too many people that we love in our lives, and we didn't want to put that pressure on them. Like, you have this title, you have this role in our wedding. Like, we didn't want to do that to anyone. So that's the reason why we don't have any.
Another thing too is everyone that would be a groomsman or bridesmaids, we know their schedules, you know, and like it's already hectic as it is. And to place more responsibilities on them, and especially the fact that we're doing it in Paris too, it's like, you know, they would have to deal with Paris things, and it's like I don't want to trouble them. So yeah, we're just doing it on our own with the wedding planner, and then whoever wants to make a speech or whoever wants to do certain things on the wedding day, we're playing it really loose.
Yeah, we really are. So it's funny that our wedding ended up to being what it is right now, because originally I wanted to elope. I didn't want a big wedding anymore. I was just like, we don't need all this. We don't need to spend all this money.
That's not proper.
Hold on. So everyone out there is thinking that it's me that wants this big Paris wedding. Like, poor Casey. He has to shell out all this money because Tiffany is such a princess. She wants all this. No, guys, it wasn't me. It was him. He wanted this big wedding, okay? It wasn't
I didn't want to elope. I didn't want to make it. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know. Because weddings, I'm like, whatever about weddings too, but when it came down to it, I was like, I guess the way I feel about you specifically, I was like, I don't want to elope with you. I want to celebrate you, and I want to celebrate with people that are around me, and I want to celebrate in a place that I really, honestly like going to.
So he's the romantic one. I even told him for the engagement ring, when we were talking about getting engaged and stuff, I told him, I'm like, please don't get me a real diamond. I'm cool with like a cubic zirconium diamond. Like, just get me something that looks nice. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's real. He still went out and got me a real diamond. So it's not me, okay, guys? Stop thinking that I'm this like demanding person that needs to have this grand thing. I really don't. I honestly, truly don't. I was down to just have a simple wedding like Bart and Gio, or even more simple than that. Just go somewhere.
You want to go to Vegas and go to a Vegas chapel.
I just wanted to just get married and just be married and that's it, and like focus on our life. But then once he like laid it out for me like that, like, yeah, you know, we should have like something special where we bring our families together and we can also double it as a vacation, kind of like what Bart and Gio did when they went to Hawaii. And we're like, cool, like, and then that's when we started brainstorming, like, where can we go around the world? Like, this is fun. And then that's how I kind of grew from there.
Yeah, you've actually been a very easy girlfriend, fiance, and wife, future wife, to shop for and everything, because you're not very materialistic. Because I'm the one that placed it upon myself to create a tradition, right? A tradition of going to Tiffany's for every Christmas.
I didn't want this. He gave me this.
Yeah, and like I put it upon myself to make that a tradition, and I had to like one up myself every year and stuff like that, which meant I'm like, well, if you have to one up yourself every year, that means you have to one up yourself in how much you make every year. And I made this whole like thing about, you know, needing to be successful like within myself, you know. And then after 3 years of that, she was like, can we stop with the Tiffany's thing? Because
it's too much.
It's
too much money. It's like, I tell you every year, please don't get me anything expensive. Like, honestly, if you do want to spend money, I'm the type of person that's like, I don't care about materialistic things. I'm all about it, experiences and adventures. So I'm like, just give me a vacation somewhere. Like, buy me plane tickets. Yeah, so I'm like, let's just do some like experiences, or like get me a class on like how to fly a plane or something like that. Like, I don't care about materialistic things. I still appreciate it, obviously, but I tell you that every year. I'm like, don't buy me anything. Yeah, that's because I did see that question a lot pop up in your guys' submissions as to like, why did you guys decide to marry in Paris, or like, how much are you guys paying for the wedding? And actually, I've heard this be kind of common sense, like, you don't really talk about dollar amounts when it comes to wedding, or like who's paying for the wedding, which by the way, we both are paying for the wedding, okay? I saw a lot of comments like, oh, poor Casey has to shell out all this money. No, guys, it's our wedding, our money.
Very equal.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the reason why Paris though, and we actually talked about this in one of the Paris vlogs, but while we were in Paris scouting out venues and stuff like that and planning the wedding, I realized that one of the first times I actually communicated with Tiff was when I was in Paris, and because of that, I was like, oh, it's kind of like a full circle kind of thing, where it all began with this Facebook message while I was in Paris, and it'd be really cool to kind of bring it back to Paris when we get married. And so that was the whole, you know, poetic flair of why we're doing it in Paris. And I just love Paris. Like, I love eating food, and Paris has a lot of food to offer.
And then the very first time we even had Isaac introduced to his parents was at a French restaurant. Here in LA.
In LA, right off of Sunset.
Yeah, so it's like, it just all kind of points towards
and you know,
France.
The one Pixar movie that we watched, all three of us, all the time, Ratatouille.
That's our favorite.
So there's plenty of, I mean, if you really want to make it a reason why we're doing Paris, I mean, there's plenty of things that indicate that. So
a lot of reasons. We actually knocked out a lot of wedding questions with just this one bridesmaid groomsman question. So next question from maryledforddd. What is the main thing that made you notice each other? What was it about me that was just like,
all right, let's take it back real quick. So it was after a rap show from a mutual friend of ours, and it was after an after party at a bar, and I was talking to some other people, and I was just kind of scanning the room, and possibly with the hopes of seeing a really pretty face somewhere along the way, and lo and behold, I see one, and it was you. And you were talking to some other people. You had a drink in your hands. You were wearing a white top.
You remember?
With jeans, yeah, a little purse. And it was your eyes though. It was the eyes and your smile that was like, it was like one of those scan. Whoa, what is that? And then I was like, oh, I need to talk to her. But I don't think I actually got around to talking to you that night.
I didn't meet you that night.
Because of how magnificent your smile and like just your eyes are to me, I was a little bit intimidated from
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, well, you know, if she's really a fan of Wax's, which is the rapper we were there with, she'll be back. I'll see her again in the future.
That's
time.
what you thought?
Yeah,
oh, cool.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, it'd be time.
You're such a movie, man. Like,
what?
Your whole life is a movie.
Why?
It's so cool. It's so cute.
That's a movie right there?
Yeah, that's like a typical movie. It's like, that girl is from my dreams, but she'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, you don't ever like see people and it just kind of knocks you back a little bit. I don't know, maybe it happens to guys more than to girls. I don't know, because guys are way more visual, I guess, when it comes to finding a partner, I guess. And so I don't know, it just kind of knocked me back a little bit. Whoa.
So it was my eyes?
Your eyes, yeah. Your eyes, but then it's the way your eyes kind of, you know, when people smile, it gets smaller, the eyes. So you have really big eyes, so it went to like regular size, I guess, when you smile. But then it was like the full package of the smile with the eyes. I don't know.
Aww,
one of those things.
That's sweet.
But yeah, so that's what caught my eye. That's what really cemented like this connection for me to you. Yeah.
That's so cute. Cause yeah, that night I didn't even see you. Like I didn't know you were there that night.
I was too nervous.
But I do remember being at that show in that bar. But I remember first seeing you in person was at the second wax show that I went to. So you were filming on the stage, and then I remember turning you around. I was like, hey, Casey. And you turned around and you're like, hey. And I just immediately saw that jawline and your lips. I was just like, dang. But then I was trying really hard to just be a good girl because I was still in a relationship at that time. And I was just like, no, you can't let your eyes wander. But I will admit that I did, you did catch my eye with that jawline and the lips.
Okay.
I was just like,
jawline. I gotta stay fit thing because the first thing to go is the jawline if you gain weight. So
yeah,
I gotta.
so you know what? Like turn to the side. Okay, you see this little curve here? This little, how it kind of like flaps over right there? That, and then this, it won me over. I was like, oh man, that guy. I gotta kiss those lips. You remember that guy?
That guy.
That's for the next question.
Oh yeah, it is for the next question.
You know what, let's just jump on that. So for our last question, from Young QI period K.
Yongchi.k.
Yeah. What's an inside joke between you guys?
Guys? You guys?
So when we first met, I had this really thick Chicana accent, which I never even knew. He like made me realize that I had an accent, and sometimes I could hear it come out, especially when I say like 3, I'll be like 3. So
What
anyway,
time is it?
Yeah, what time? No, I never say time. I say time. No, but it's usually with 3. But anyways, when was it that you heard me say guy?
I don't know. Like every time you mentioned the word guy, it wasn't guy. It was guy. It was like there's a whole bunch of like extra vowel sounds coming. It's like guy.
Did you say I sounded like?
It came from your Chicana accent, but it reminded me of how Christopher Walken would say. It's like this guy, you know, this guy. You know.
I remember you telling me that, and I was like, I sound like Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Only on that word though. It was just that word. Like no other words sounded like Christopher Walken.
Yeah, so then from then on, I made it a point to just say guy, like normal. I'm like, guy. Oh yeah, that guy.
This guy.
But then like sometimes it'll come out and he'll point it out, and so that was like kind of our little inside joke would be like, that guy. Or sometimes I'll even say it now on purpose, like what I just did in the previous question. I'll be like, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, it's when you get all silly and like fun. The way you pronounce certain things, it gets very elongated like that.
Yeah. That was one of our very first inside jokes.
And then one of our most recent inside jokes was, you were telling me something, I was telling you, oh no, we gotta go to sleep early, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, because we gotta shoot tomorrow, whatever. And then you're like, oh no, we have like 5 hours here, and like 2 hours there, about 20 minutes to do that. Plenty of time. And I was like, what? Who does that? That was like the 90s Power Ranger, like,
I was like,
morphin' time. It's like, plenty of time. Who does that?
We're so dumb.
That was like serious, dude.
We were cracking up for like 30 minutes. It was like the funniest thing, and then from then on, we're just like, oh, we gotta hurry up and get that thing.
Plenty of time. Hey, there's only like 2 minutes left on the memory card. Plenty of time.
We're so dumb. Alright guys, thanks for watching our very first Q&A video. We're gonna save a lot of your questions that you guys submitted.
There's a lot. There's like 3,000 questions.
Yeah, there's a ton. So I'm not gonna delete that Instagram post, so if you guys wanna keep adding questions to that, and then for future Q&A videos, I'll just be referring to that post. Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. We got plenty of time for that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Peace.